And good afternoon, we're live. We're hello guys.
Streaming from
Hi.
Planet Earth.
Planet Earth.
Yeah. So today is December 8th.
Yes.
It's a holiday.
Immaculate Conception.
Yeah.
Yes.
And since 2017, it's been declared a national holiday, did you know? So it's not just a holiday of obligation, but that's why I'm in blue and white for Mama Mary.
Actually, I'm in blue.
I was not informed.
No,
I did not
I'm just
get the
like,
memo.
I'm in the clouds. Head in the clouds.
Alright.
So
Hello
welcome.
everyone. This is the third episode
Yes.
of Tuesday. I'm Cesca, Litton-Kalaw. This is Pia
Pia
Magalona. And of course,
Goyo.
our resident expert on all things elections.
Yes.
Goyo Larrazabal. And last
Thank
week
you
we
for
had-
being here.
Yeah, it's again this is our third episode. Last week
Yes.
we had James
James
Jimenez
Jimenez.
joining us, and today is actually a special edition of Tuesday.
Yes. Why?
We have been posting about this since last night. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
So today we're going to we have questions. People throw in questions. So whoever throws in a couple of questions now, we'll choose among those who send in questions. And if you're in Metro Manila, we're gonna send you a sweet ecstasy burger. Wow!
Not just any
We should
burger.
have that bill talaga. Ding, ding.
Oh yeah, I forgot my
Wait,
bill.
sandali, ha? Wait, just stop, guys. Just stop.
But yes, again, as Goyo said, this is
Yeah.
only for Metro Manila, ha? Sorry, like any provincial.
Yeah, it's like, and it's
Well, we don't
it's
have
our
to.
very
Sorry,
first.
hindi aabot.
It's our very first time to do this. So yeah,
Yes.
we're trying it out. If it's a hit, then we'll bring it back in
Yes.
future episodes, and we can
Yes.
also have like anybody else want to sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah, like it doesn't make us more biased or anything. It's just like a thank you to our listeners, our viewers,
Yes.
and thank you for asking questions.
And thank you, of course, to Sweet Ecstasy for
Thank you, Sweet Ecstasy.
helping us out with this, for agreeing to do this with Tuesday. And all you have to do is, obviously, we're going to have an hour-long discussion
Yes.
on anything voter-related, elections-related. And all you have to do is send in questions and use the hashtag Tuesday, CHOOSE, as in choose, feeling. Tuesday. And there's also hashtag SweetX,
Yes. Sweet X Manila.
SweetX Manila, and hashtag AskGoyo.
Okay, talk muna.
Okay.
Give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
Hinahanap talaga ni Goyo yung bell.
At OC, sorry, OC talaga.
Did do his homework.
Okay. And we already have people tuning in. We have to say hi to Zeus, Ian, hello, Nixon. I know Nixon. Hi, Nixon.
Which Nixon is this?
Nixon Serrano. I
Oh,
hosted,
yes.
an event with him before. And yes, Eleanor.
Hashtag
Also-
Sweet X Manila is sweet, then the letter X,
Yes.
and Manila.
Ano ko na yung bell.
Yeah. So you have to have the hashtags in order to qualify for the
Yes.
raffle draw
Raffle
To
draw
win.
talaga.
to win a burger.
Yes. So we'll
And
be
we're not just
later.
giving away one burger.
Hey!
We're giving away a few.
Yes,
I don't
a
really
few.
know how many.
3. We're going to be giving away 3.
Wow.
We are giving away three burgers from Sweet X. So once again, all you have to do is send in a question
Okay.
using the hashtag Tuesday, CHOOSE Day,
Yes.
hashtag SweetXManila, and hashtag AskGoyo.
Goyo, yeah.
Alright.
Thank you very much, Sweet Ecstasy, for my body. You.
What
Alright.
do you mean?
Okay.
Sige.
So, what are we discussing today? You already tweeted this a while ago. Is there a perfect candidate? Who are the people qualified to vote? So let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah. Wait,
Okay.
I just want to put that out there that this is everything election related, voting related, but mostly registering to vote is
Yes.
the first
Yes.
step. And so, empowerment of what was it? What did you put? Empowering
People
people
empowered. Yes.
for a better tomorrow. So this is always focused on the individual. When you listen to this, it's not it's not a generalized idea. It's just really focused on you.
Yeah.
You.
We want you. Yeah, you. So that you take care of yourself. You make sure you're registered so that you are empowered. You are a citizen of the country, and it takes off. You'll be surprised. It takes off from there.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
So the first thing you mentioned, Piano, is
Yeah.
as a recap, we have to talk about registering as a voter. So when you register as a voter, you can do that right now. Registration is at the different COMELEC offices all over the Philippines. It's from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, Monday to Thursday. Before you do that, they have an online appointment system. They have an online appointment system, and what that does is you go to IVs to the comment.gov.ph, book an appointment, fill out all the forms. Then when you go to the COMELEC office, you just bring the papers. You get your thumb mark, thumbprint, and take your pictures. Then you're already applied as a voter. So
Yeah.
now,
No, it's fine. We actually, Brad,
Yeah,
but
so-
we actually also discussed this with James last
Yes,
week.
yes.
James went through this point by point.
yes,
That online registration, once again, does not mean that you do not have to go to the COMELEC
Yeah, you
office.
still-
You still have to go because no matter what, your signature and your thumbprint need to be done in front of
An officer.
yes.
COMELEC officer. Okay, it just makes your appointment a lot faster. It makes
Yes.
your stay inside the COMELEC office a lot quicker as well. You don't need to line up for hours or whatever. Basta
Your
mas
time.
mabilis na lang yung process. Yeah.
Okay. So when you plan to register as a voter, you have to do it
Sorry,
now.
so is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a private meeting?
Yeah.
Sorry, sorry.
So
When you
so
register.
when you register as a voter, you have to do it now. Don't wait to the last minute because normally as the dates get closer to the end of registration, the lines are longer. So now, pretty much, there's not many people in the different public offices. So it takes about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're done. So you do it early. Just a reminder that you have to register early. That's the start. That's the first step in empowering yourself.
Because election day is.
May 9, 2022, but registration ends at the end of September 2021.
Yes.
That's, you say, ay, tagal pa yun.
Tagal pa.
Yeah, ito na naman tayo sa deadline.
But alam mo, before you know it, it's like, oh, September 29 na. Go.
Yeah.
It's
So,
bigger.
so did you like that? Like I showed you last night, I found on Twitter the teacher of the senior high
Yes,
school.
yes.
Yes.
I saw that was
Yeah,
nice.
that was a really good idea. And I said, like, quote tweeted it and I said, sana all.
Yes.
Because it's a really great idea. He said instead of asking them to pass a certain project, what he did was he empowered his students to register and everybody was able to, I guess what he meant was the pre-registration down to the actual registration. That's why he was able to report already on Twitter because they probably did it by class.
Yes.
So each teacher should have like a class maybe of 20 plus persons,
Yes.
something like that. So wouldn't it be wonderful? And then he's starting them off at the age where they're really allowed to vote, 18
Yes.
and above. So it's like, like I was mentioning earlier, FOMO.
Yeah.
If you have FOMO, which is fear of missing out, you always want to be part of things, which is natural, for the human being. So wouldn't you feel bad if you were a registered voter and everybody else is, yeah, I am, and then you're the odd man out.
I'm glad you brought up the age, 18 and up, because we're gonna start off with our first question of the day. Who are qualified to vote?
All right.
Okay. Under the 1987 Constitution, the following people are qualified to register and vote. You have to be at least 18 years of age on or before May 9, 2022. You have to be a resident in the Philippines for at least 1 year, and in spot received the intent to vote 6 months before election. You are not otherwise disqualified by law.
Okay.
Pretty much it.
So let's say I'm 17 and a half.
Yes.
by January of 2022. And then, sige, 17 and 3 months. O yun, habang yun. Math, guys. So, as long as I turn 18
On or
on
before
or
May
before
9,
May, but I can
2022.
register while I'm 17 years
Yes,
old.
you can.
Okay.
A couple of people shot through me that question, and it happens often that they're 18 or they're turning 18 in January 2022. Can they register already now? Yes, you can. You can go to the comment office, do it early, and like I mentioned before, no, the concern of a lot of the young guys is when they go there, they don't have any IDs or they don't have any ID. So you can go there accompanied by your parents, and they can vouch for your identity
Yes.
and your residence in that city or municipality.
Parents or
Yes.
relatives,
Yes.
adult relative, yeah, or family friend or guardian, whoever is it. Maybe because if you're like staying like in the province, or maybe you're from the provinces and then you are in Metro Manila to study. These are example situations. A lot of different real life situations. A lot of out of towners live in Manila because they studied in the universities here. So if there's a boarding house,
Yes.
you probably have a contract with a boarding house.
Yes.
That will do also, yeah. So your school ID will do
Your school ID
to identify you.
to identify you.
Yeah.
But as regards your residency,
Your residency, your contract with the dorm can
Yes.
do. Yeah.
but normally it's the common procedures, the
Yeah.
common practices. You're accompanied by your parents.
Yeah.
So
But that will do because real life situation. I have my daughter is a dormer.
yes,
But we live here, I mean, pretty near, but she's a dormer. But she has dorm mates who live alone here
Yeah.
in Manila. And actually, we're stuck here during this pandemic.
yes.
So their whole family is in the provinces. So they can register. Because my daughter's, she just turned 20. So
Yeah.
she has, senior high
Yeah, so she can register.
dorm mates.
Yeah.
They
But
can register here.
They register, dapat they register where they live in.
Yeah, they can, if they live na here,
Yeah.
diba? Kasi they're here na eh.
Yeah, they're residents.
Tapos also, as with regard to the age, if your birthday is on May 8,
Pwede.
2022 na mag-18 ka, pwede ka na mag-register ngayon hanggang sa September 30, 2021.
But again, do it early because
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is
So complete nyo lang.
Yeah, everybody's gonna do.
Nabay-
Everybody wants to do stuff at the last minute.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So moving on to the next question. Okay, fine. I'm turning 18 by May. I can vote, whatever. But why should I vote? Why is voting sacred?
because basically voting is your state saying that it's democracy, the country's democracy.
It's your
Okay,
right.
di ba, the students when they're during the class, di ba, normally have election for the class president,
Yes,
di ba?
yes, yes.
Class president. And everybody's so, I want to have a say because that person will be the president of our class, will have such a big impact in our class. You consider how much more important is the person you're voting for to head your city or municipality or to head your
Barangay.
province and barangay, even the most basic in barangay, diba? So if you have that much interest in who will be your class president, you should have even more interest in who will be running the affairs in your barangay,
Yeah.
city, province, and country, diba?
Yeah.
So, and that's not like 1 year, it's 3
Yeah.
years or 6 years, diba? So the importance of putting in somebody you think is qualified is much more important
Yeah.
for
Kasi like working with them, so you always have to think preventive, di ba? Let's say if you voted for the people in the barangay, the mindset is the barangay is there kung mag-aaway tayong magkapitbahay. But it also works this way na if you have a good barangay captain and barangay leaders, then you can work with them in preventing situations. Like why wait for things to happen and then people just complain, right? So you can send suggestions to them let's say about your outside your gate,
Yes.
or what's happening, or the collection of the trash. You can, you can work with the barangay, and
at
they would
first,
like really, they would really appreciate that. Let's turn it into that kind of governance where the leaders get their info from the constituents, diba? For the daily thing.
Here's where there may be a disconnect. For people, I have to be involved sa barangay because that's where I live.
Yeah.
Kaya naman pakialam ng, like, what do senators and congressmen know? They don't live in my community. They
Okay.
don't live in my village.
Pero,
How do you
okay.
reconcile that?
I'm gonna put this down. So-
Seryoso na siguro. Okay.
So, we vote for barangay officials, city officials, because we have chances are direct connection with them. We have interaction with them. If there's a problem in the barangay, we go to the barangay officials, the barangay captain, barangay kagawans to resolve those issues. If there's a problem in the city, we go to the city mayor, vice mayor, councilors. However, the importance of national officials, the president and the members of both houses in the Congress, the Senate and House of Representatives, is more important because they determine policy for the good country. For example, you want a national ID system, and that was passed in this Congress, So that will determine how things will be run for the good country for the next decade or decades, Or, for example, in the last Congress, there was the Universal Healthcare Bill,
Yes.
that was passed by both Congress after several decades. So now we have the universal healthcare system. That one, you might not think it has impact on you because you don't hear the whole discussion, but implementing the program will have a trickle-down effect,
Yes.
right down to each and every barangay. Ideally,
Of
it provides
course.
better healthcare system, better healthcare for all Filipinos. So, yes, you don't see them, you don't join the discussion, pero we feel it back. There's a bill now pending in the Senate, the Safe Pathways Bill. It's in the committee of Senator Pia Cayetano. So that provides bicycle lanes or some enhancements to promote people in riding bicycle safely. So, yes, that is a national legislation. Pero, once that's implemented, once it passes and becomes a law, that goes down to each and every city municipality. So, tayo, we benefit from it. So, that's why we don't see it, but it has an impact on our daily life. It's not basic. It might not be as obvious as your interaction with the
Your barangay or city hall.
city hall officials, but it does have an impact.
Yes, actually, and when you said that you think that you're not in the discussion, you can actually join the discussion because you
Yes.
can just get in touch with your
Favorite
representative.
VP
Yes.
Favorite VP ato.
Yes, you can, because a lot of people are not aware. So let your team that you can actually get in touch with your representatives and the people that you voted for on the national level. So don't think that it's like a waste of time or don't think that you just have to do your homework.
Ito siya, there's some people kasi who think that their discussion of the national legislation, there's the House of Representatives and Senate, those are high officials. Baka if I say something, mapapayalan ko or hindi ako papansinin. But I'm telling you, it has happened in so many instances in the past that voices of everyday folks actually can make a difference because these are public officials, they're public servants. Or they're there specifically to serve
To
the public,
represent
to
us,
represent the public, diba? So, it is actually their duty to listen to all of us.
Tsaka it's a good practice to do. Have a discussion. You're not gonna get your way all the time. But if you have an idea, just put it out there. Libre lang. Yan naman libre lang.
Sorry, one example that comes to mind. If I remember correctly, there was supposed to be an amusement park or a theme park that was going to be built in Palawan or
That's
something.
crazy.
And people were mad.
Yeah.
Like, no, Palawan does not need a teamwork,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
beautiful the way you do
Yeah.
this, blah blah. But guess what? It didn't push through.
Yeah.
Because people complain, people made their voices heard, people let it be known that no, we don't want our islands to be touched.
And that's why it's important to make your voice heard, di ba? So, and that just goes to show that we can make a difference.
Yes.
It doesn't hurt to try.
Correct.
What's the worst thing that can happen? Hindi ko mapansin eh.
Yeah.
Or hindi ma-address yung concern mo. But at least you tried.
Yeah.
You don't want tomorrow, for example, may mangyari. Sabi, sana sinabi ko sana.
Yes.
Sana hindi mangyari, di ba? So it's better to err on the side of you did something, right?
Yeah,
I
because
did
you make the
right,
effort. Because you also carry that throughout your life as an individual. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, we're kind of trained to be meek, so should not be when it's like questioning something. And it's sometimes you question them because sometimes you might not understand that what you're thinking is wrong. So it could also be clarified by that office of whoever the representative is.
We're not sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, please send in your questions. Use the hashtag Tuesday, CHOOSE Day. Hashtag Ask Goyo, hashtag SweetX Manila. We already have a question from Nixon. Nixon, use the hashtags also.
Here's the hashtag.
How do you think can we encourage people, especially the Gen Z generation, to register in the upcoming election? As a mother?
That's what I was saying earlier about the professors or the teachers. Like, I wish others would also follow suit. But I wish that the idea of that teacher goes out, like becomes viral,
Yes.
so that others can follow suit. Because it's a very simplified way of getting your students. It's like you are in charge of that set of students, and then you did your job also to help the country, to help in gathering more registrants. And also, as parents, it's our responsibility to inform our children as they're growing up. You know, if you start while you're still young, you start while they're in grade school. So
Yes.
yeah, you can like inform them that it does copy the pattern of how it happens in school when you vote for your class officers, when you vote for, and then up to college board officers, and like everybody has a role to play. So it's a good thing. It's like you're very active in your part as a citizen of this country. That's what I always put in. You have to be a good citizen of this country.
Thank you for that, Nixon. And again, if you
Thank
guys
you.
have any questions, Goyo has.
Alright. So one thing is also be done is we make elections hip. We make it cool, di ba? Kasi sasabihin naman ba, elections pang matanda yan. That's only for old folks. I'm not old. We're not old. We're still young, di ba? Bata pa kami. So, we're still bata pa. So, how do you make elections attractive to the younger generation, the Gen Z? You make it hip. You know what happened to the US? Kasi the US is the most recent huge election.
Yeah.
What did they do? Celebrities, whether they were for President Trump or President-elect Joe Biden, they reached out to the young voters.
Just to register.
Just Taylor Swift was there,
Yes.
and
The first time she was very vocal.
she was very
That was a
vocal.
bit weird.
Sorry.
And what that did is it encouraged Gen Z people to register and participate. And it also highlighted the fact that, of all people, of all age brackets, it's the Gen Z who will benefit most from good governance. Because if you're 60 years old and you live until 90, you have 30 more years, diba? To maximize whatever happens. But if you're 20 years old, if you live to 90, that's
Life has
70.
just begun.
Yeah, life has just begun. So, you're voting for people who will affect the next 70 years of your life. Kasi if you have a policy now, if it's a bad policy, you're stuck with it for the next how many years or decades, diba? But if it's a good policy, then what you will do is you will reap the benefit for the next 70 years of your life if you're 20 and live to 90. Diba? So you have to make it hip and make people understand that it's really important
It's
One more-
actually just awareness that they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you were saying.
So, and one more thing is brand intrusion. What we're doing now. We're doing now brand intrusion, and so we have companies, civic organizations who want to reach out, want to help increase voter awareness, like sweet ecstasy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Ding ding ding. Yeah.
So they are. So after this, we're going to get the questions,
Yeah.
and we're going to choose, and we're going to give a burger. So
Yeah.
what happens is that that's already
Interacting.
interacting
Yeah.
with brands, and to finding a common cause that will benefit not just that brand but everybody.
Yeah. It's for the country. So, come on, guys, promote the vote.
Wow.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
we have to say hi to some people joining. Endo, maayong hapon.
Wrong spelling, maayong
Ma-
maayong hapon ko.
Oh,
Maayong
okay.
hapon. That's,
Good
yeah.
afternoon, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I have to. Sorry, wait lang. My friends are tuned in. I have to give a shout out to Team OSY. Remember before the show started, I was telling you about Warzone.
Yes.
Call of Duty.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
So that's my usual squad. I have to say hi to Becca, Pao, they're watching. Hi guys.
Are you a
And
registered voter?
I
Yeah.
bet you they're watching for burgers. Anyway, so with that, again, please send us your questions. The good Goyo Larrazabal will choose.
Yes.
We are giving
Oh
away
wait, sorry.
three.
If you won't be chosen, I don't blame.
Wow.
Yeah, it's random.
No,
You love this game
just,
again.
just send in your questions.
Yes.
Use the hashtag Tuesday. Choose as in pili ka.
Yeah. This is a test. This is a
CHOOST
test for
day.
registration. If you
Yes.
are listening and you input the right hashtags,
Hashtag
follow
Ask Goyo,
instructions.
hashtag SweetXManila.
Yes.
And yeah, we have maybe about 30 minutes more in the show.
Yeah.
So please feel free to send in your questions. Again, while we have Goyo with us, he is our resident expert.
Okay, where's Verdansk?
Verdansk is the fake country or the fake
In
Warzone.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yeah,
ignore-
it's like-
guys.
Is there elections there?
Okay, so I thought my geography is really bad. So it's like okay.
Oh, there.
Okay,
So
okay.
back, Rene is asking, I have a friend living in Auckland now, but he's registered in Laguna. How will he be able to vote?
Okay, if he's a registered voter and he voted in the last election, he can still vote on election day
Okay.
here in Laguna. But if he is in Auckland and wants to vote in Auckland, he has to transfer his registration there. Yeah, so he can vote outside.
Okay.
Diba? So what you do is you go to the embassy in Auckland or the consulate, and you register. You can register there, and you transfer your registration to Auckland, so you can vote there. You overseas absentee voter can.
But there's like an earlier deadline for the people abroad, right?
Yeah, there is a deadline, but we say.
So hurry.
But so you can choose. You can vote there in Auckland, or you can vote in Laguna, as long as you are a active voter. Pwede pa rin.
So if he registers there in the embassy there, and then they bring his registration there, is his registration in Laguna gone? Or
Wala
he-
na, yun, wala.
Wala na
Wala
yun.
na. So parang na-transfer lang yan.
And then what if, kunyari, we don't know his situation, but what if he comes back by election time?
Wala na.
Wala
He's
na,
there
yeah.
na.
Okay.
His registration is
Yeah.
there already.
So the
Online.
best is to find out from your embassy or consulate what are the rules of
Yes.
how to make it possible for you to still vote, because every vote counts.
Yes.
Alright.
Remember.
We have another question from Endo. Is there a COMELEC rule that prohibits online contribution to support advocacies on election campaign?
Okay. Under the laws and under the rules, all donations have to be declared. All candidates, political parties, party list organizations have to file a SOSES, Statement of Contributions and Expenditures. That report, which is done 30 days after the election day, has to include donations both given personally or deposited to a bank account. What's important is that you cannot do foreign. You cannot. It's prohibited to accept foreign donations.
Oh,
It is.
Okay.
It's prohibited for
Yeah.
foreigners or foreign individuals or corporations to participate in any way with the local election. So, you have to declare that.
Okay. We have one more question from Nixon. I am a registered voter here in Quezon City, participated in the 2010 election, but wasn't able to vote last 2016. I know, right? I regret it. Do I need to register again? How to register again?
the
Okay.
voter was in 2019.
Yeah, so you missed the
You missed the one.
16 and
2016,
2019.
the 2019,
Yeah.
plus the barangay elections,
Yeah.
plus the 2013. Wala na, you're the
You
integrated
really have to
voter na.
register.
So you have to register again. So what you have to do is fill up, do
Online.
iregistro.gov.ph, fill up the form. Pagkatapos, that's an online appointment system. Then you have to apply as registered.
Okay. All right. We have a comment from RC. Many Pinoys are slowly losing trust and confidence with some elected officials. How can you encourage them to vote in 2022?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're losing
That's the
trust
reason.
and confidence. That's why you vote for officials. That's why you vote for people.
Hey, we're not trying to make it seem that's a very good question now. We're
Yeah.
just excited because
Yeah.
you hit it on the head. It's like that's the exact reason why you should be voting and participating in the elections so that better officers are going to be in place.
Yes. So, if you like the officials, for example, national to local, di ba? So from president to councilor, if you like them, vote for them because you want to continue the policies they're implementing, the good work they're doing. But if not, 2022 is the most opportune time to reevaluate what you think can be improved.
But you can, but the president can't run again
No, he
for the
cannot.
same position.
No, he cannot. You can run for president only once. You can run for vice president twice. You can run for senate twice. But and do another. You have to sit out 3 years. Then you can run again 2 terms. For members of the House of Representatives, 3 consecutive terms, 3 years per term. Then rest. Then another 3. Then rest another 3. So even local officials. Yeah.
All right. So that will lead us to our next question.
Okay.
Ito medyo mahaba to because there are so many positions. But who are qualified to run? A while ago we answered who are qualified to vote.
Yeah.
Now we have to answer who are qualified to run.
Okay. So, the positions of for president, vice president, senators, and members of House of Representatives, the qualifications of these elected officials are in the 1987 Constitution. For local officials, it's in the local government code. Local officials, which includes mayor, governor, vice governor, provincial board member, city or municipal mayor, city or municipal vice mayor, city or municipal councilors, public officials. I don't want to make a mistake kasi
There's
na.
just 3 requirements.
Yeah, but the age, alam mo yan,
There's just 3 requirements for
to run
which
kasi.
is not a very good
Yes.
thing.
So, for example, for the president, the person has to be a natural born citizen of the Philippines. He's a registered voter, able to read and write, at least 40 years of age on the day of the election, and a resident of the Philippines at least 10 years immediately preceding such election. Same qualifications for vice president. Now, for the legislature, sorry, I want to be sure, the person should be a natural born citizen of the Philippines for Senate, and on the day of the elections, at least 35 years of age, able to read and write. Is a registered voter and a resident of the Philippines for not less than 2 years immediately preceding the day of elections. The House of Representatives, should be a national board citizen of the Philippines, and on the day of the elections, at least 25 years of age. Wait, pasok ako dyan.
Oh,
Pwede, pwede pa ka barangay captain. Pwede. 25. Habol talaga.
Wow.
Di ba? Pwede rin ako barangay captain. Okay. So, 25 years of age, able to read and write. You have to be a registered voter in the district you're running, except if you're running for a party list seat. If you're a party list seat, you have to be a resident of the Philippines for at least 1 year.
Okay.
Mga mayor, iba, governors, mayors, like 18, 21 years of age. Nasa local government code.
Alright, we have one more question from Endo. Can dual citizens overseas vote in foreign embassies?
Well, if you're a registered voter in, for example, the US, you can vote there.
Okay.
There's a procedure na you have to submit an affidavit, etc. But
But if you vote for in the U.S. elections, you cannot vote anymore for Philippine elections,
see,
right?
this is it. Kasi election law is municipal law. So what determines whether or not a citizen can vote is the country's own laws. So if our laws say that these people can vote, wala tayong pakialam sa kanila. For example, you are a resident of Canada. So if you fit the qualification under our laws, you can vote here. Also there, you can actually vote as long as you feel you comply with the requirements of that host country. Okay?
Yeah, mostly it's about the residence.
Yes.
The 1 year or 6 months. Yeah. So, makes sense.
Natawa ko may PBA question na sa nakaso ko na. Endo!
You're not on the spot.
Sino nalo? Wait, sandali ha.
Sige. Sabi mo yan, sagutin mo yan. Kung kaya niyong sagutin.
What is
okay,
your
wait.
fearless forecast for the PBA All Filipino Finals?
Well, you know what? It's I don't know if it's a fearless forecast, but we'll see if TNT can hold on because Ginebra just needs to win one more game.
One more game and that's
just
it.
one more win for Ginebra and they win the championship. But who knows for TNT? You never know, guys, when their shooters start shooting. But unfortunately, Jason Castro, we saw him taken out of the game. We wish Jason like a quick recovery. No one wants to see anyone injured, but you know what? I hope it's gonna be a great final series. Okay. Anyway, may nasingit to sports eh.
But
Sorry.
because basketball is like for a lot of Filipinos.
Yeah.
I tried it.
Of course.
Oh, yes, I tried it, but obviously.
Okay,
What's
Nixon
the
said,
papayta?
sorry, wait. Nixon said he missed the website where to fill out the form. Hope you can share.
Oh yeah, the
Okay.
iregistro.comlec.gov.ph. That's pretty much it. And if you're on Twitter, you can just tag us, or you can tag or ask the Comlec Twitter account, Comlec, and they'll be happy to assist you.
And what is the regular streaming time for hashtag For the Love of the Game? For the Love of the Game was the title of our episode last night. I'm sorry, I haven't usual.
Okay.
So it's called
Yeah,
Off
it's
the
on
Off the Record with Migs and Cesca. So that's every Monday at 8 p.m. So next week we will have, next Monday at 8. So we'll be talking about social media and things before you click, especially with athletes.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, next time, guys.
Okay na. Everything's connected.
This is a good question.
Okay, here from RC. Is the mayoral election fair without an opponent? We have no choice. That's what happened during the last election here in Antipolo, Rizal.
Ooh, where
Oh,
go
yeah.
that?
What is?
That's we live in the
Yan, may
democracy.
kasot na yan.
Yeah, but kasi there have been instances not only that city but also other places in the Philippines where a local candidate runs
Ano po?
unopposed talaga and in some instances because wala talaga, no one wants to run, they're happy the way it's run, that the affairs are run, and but the others they just okay, I don't want to, I'm okay naman na they don't want to participate in running for office and they just support whoever is running. And it happens, and you don't need 50% of the vote. As long as you get even at least one vote.
Really?
No, but
Oh.
that's what I understand where he's coming from. It's like, what if you're not happy?
Yeah, what if
But-
ayaw mo sa kanya?
Yeah, but yeah, it's like,
Like, how do people express that they don't like this candidate even if he's the only one?
Well, you can have somebody file
candidacy.
certificate of candidacy.
Yeah, but it's expensive. Like,
Yeah.
what if there's no other candidate?
Kasi you cannot
That's
force-
that's why we have to change our system talaga. Because it's a big job, but still you have to start somewhere. Yeah. So
And this is prevalent in other parts of the Philippines. Na, but in some cases, wala. Ayaw. They just don't want to run, or like some areas, they talk amongst the politicians. Oh, I'm going to run, and for example, yeah, you want to run. Why do you want to run? Because I want to have this fixed. Sige, isama ko na yan at gusto mo as part of my policies program. So ikaw,
platform.
so you won't run anymore because you're concerned.
Representative.
It's addressed to me, maybe.
No, but in this, for instance, you have that mayor that not is run unopposed. If there's something that's going on, who do you complain to about your officials?
well, if you run and
No, later on, like, naupo na sila, and then you have a complaint. Who do you, the ombudsman?
okay. If you have a concern that
Yeah.
that has to be addressed, you ask the local chief executive, for example, the mayor, di ba?
Eh, siya may complaint.
Well, you can run to the office of the governor.
Okay.
You can run to the ombudsman,
Okay.
or you can run to. There are different avenues for which you can run to your congressman.
Congressman.
So you can have there are many.
Because this is called checks and balances.
Exactly. So you can have your concerns addressed.
Yeah.
If you think that you're not given the appropriate the corresponding attention you deserve.
Yeah, because you're speaking on behalf of your citizenry in the
Exactly.
city.
So, but
Not just for yourself.
and this is one thing I have to emphasize now. Even if a person runs unopposed, that person is still mandated to provide service for everyone.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So, but ayaw mo siya, or ayaw niya sa'yo, but since you're a resident, he has to address your concerns and issues,
Yeah.
and make sure that you're a happy citizen, you're a happy resident.
That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I'm representing the question of our listener, our viewer, that the person is already there, but you are not happy with the job that they're doing. Then you can write your representative.
Yes. Or
Because
them, normally,
They're
Yeah.
above the mayor.
yeah, in some cases they're above the mayor. In some cases they
How
report.
about the congressman?
Okay, the congressman kasi, the members of the House of Representatives, it's supposed to be national, diba?
Yeah.
But they represent the district.
Okay.
There are some districts kasi that a House of Representatives congressman represents several municipalities and districts within the province. So my district, I might have 5 towns in one city.
Okay.
But there are some district representatives who belong to one city. For example, here in Makati, there are 2 legislative districts inside the city of Makati. In the city of Quezon City,
Yeah.
there are 6 district representatives, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
within the city of Quezon.
Yeah.
So, iba-iba yan. So, there are some district representatives who comprise 1 or more cities and municipalities as part of the jurisdiction, and there are some who fall within the jurisdiction of a city. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So are they under the mayor or?
No, they're not supposed to be under the mayor.
Yeah.
because
So
they-
you can bring your concern to them.
And for example, if there's a concern that you think is not addressed,
Yeah.
you can bring it to them, and they can look at it and do something about it. They either do it themselves, or they talk to the local chief executive to have that concern addressed.
Okay.
We have a question for Pia from Endo. Pia, is there a campaign among local rappers or maybe artists as well to promote voters registration to younger people?
Right now, I am not aware. I am only aware of YouTubers, um, influencers, social media influencers. They also have a campaign for registering to vote. But I'm not aware of
We can bring them.
artists, but that should be addressed.
Yes.
As you're saying, the influence should be used to register to vote for the good of the country.
We have a question
Thanks
for
for that.
Goyo
Yes.
from René. As former Comelec commissioner, could you settle once and for all? Is it pronounced burger or burger?
Depends. If I don't have food in my mouth, it's burger. But if I have food in my mouth, it's burger. It's burger. It's burger.
Alright.
It's burger.
From Nixon again. Got the website, thank you. Yes, thank you to Zeus. He was the one who actually sent the
Yes.
link to Nixon.
Wow.
My last question is for Sir Goyo. As a former COMELEC commissioner, how do you think can the current COMELEC ensure voters that we'll have a fair and honest election this 2022? Let's face it, talagang mahirap yung job ng mga nasa ahensya na kalaban ang public opinion. You dealt with this during your time as well.
Yeah, reach out. I would say reach out to. It's a two-way street. We reach out to the officials at COMELEC, and they should also reach out to us. The idea there is, if we correspond more, the process becomes more transparent because speaking as former commissioner at that time, I would reach out. I would tell everything stakeholders ito yung ginagawa namin. By doing that, they will know what's happening. Then they tell me ito yung mga problema na tingin namin it's going to happen or it's happening. I would also be informed of things that I might have missed out, diba? So it becomes more transparent. It's more auditable, and at the end of the day, it's more credible. And that is the point and goal of every elections, to be credible, but not only credible but perceived to be credible. It's a difficult task, but you have to do something because as public, before kasi I always believe that as public officials, you are there to serve the public. Kung may hinaing sila, even if you think it's a bit off the konti, you have to try to explain to them, ito yung concerns nyo, ito yung ginagawa namin, para you bring them in, you rope them in to be part of the process and part of the solution, not part of the problem. Be vigilant. That's it. Be vigilant. If you have any question, ask them again. If they don't answer, ask them again. If they don't answer, ask them again. They'll eventually
Basta
answer.
makulit.
Kasi ang hirap nga to get proof because the phone isn't allowed ba? Diba?
You cannot.
When you're inside the
Yeah.
precinct, right?
Kasi that's a secrecy of the ballot rule na you're not supposed to be able to take a picture because,
I know.
Yeah.
Pero like if you catch something off that's happening like where the ballot box is, and then how do you complain about that?
Ako for example,
Wala
so for example, you storage on the ballot boxes or your machines or other electric paraphernalia. If you think it's not done right, take a picture, send to COMELEC or post on social media, tag the accounts of
But
COMELEC.
you can use the phone, diba, in the voting,
In the voting
Yeah,
itself,
well,
okay.
inside.
Okay, but in the voting center are schools, right?
Teachers, yeah.
Yeah. So and when you go there, when you vote, diba, it's a classroom.
Mm-hmm.
So there are windows, diba? So you can from outside.
Pwede.
You from outside. Don't go inside because the idea of taking pictures inside is not allowed because first it disrupts the proceedings. But if you're outside, the windows open, but the windows are open. Take a picture, take a video. Like, tell them this is something wrong, so they can correct it again.
Pero bawal kasi diba, to hang out outside.
No, you're outside. You're outside the classroom. You're outside the classroom.
Yeah.
Basta, wag ka na mag-ingay. Don't shout.
Yeah, don't draw attention to yourself.
You don't need to make noises. Take a video. There's something wrong here. And if there's something wrong, they have to address it right away. If there's not, they have to explain why there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, ganun sana.
No, what do you? I do that.
All right, we have one last question from Endo, but yeah, we're gonna wrap up the show soon. I feel like James could have answered this as well. What is the estimated number of new voters on voting age for the elections in 2022?
Oh, I heard that last week.
Okay. So it's supposed to be 4 million.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
4
were
million for the
expecting.
youth, diba? I don't think we're gonna meet that target.
Yeah.
But because kasi right now there's about 400,000 na registered so far. That's very matablay, but considering we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's okay.
Sabi 600 naman. Last
600?
week, sabi 600.
600, okay.
Yeah. So let's get, I hope that we have a, well, it's Christmas and like everybody's focus is probably on that, but I hope
After
we
the
have a
holidays,
campaign that's
hopefully
like,
we'll
get
see
to
a
4
surge.
get to 4 million. It's like, diba, like,
Yes.
it's like even the YouTube viewers, it's like, you know, people or Spotify streams. So we can also be that active,
You know,
getting excited, getting to 4 million registered voters
yes.
from the youth. Pala.
And what you can do is you well you can make it a Christmas gift to yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, I want, what can I get for myself this Christmas? Get yourself registered as a voter.
Yeah, right.
So you can do that much.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Promise.
Yeah, exactly. You have to do that, you know. You have to do that, and you have to just be creative, right? Just be
Yeah.
creative. Say. So that's something you can do. For example, if somebody's courting you, di ba? Sasabihin ng lalaki, what can I bring you? Flowers? Okay, sasabihin ng babae, wag na. Just register sa voter. Just
Yeah. Mas may chance ka. Totoo
Pwede.
kasi, di ba?
Pwede yan.
Yeah, these are like,
Oh.
what kind of friends do you have? Di ba? Parang, are they, di ba mamaya you find out, hindi pala sila, parang, they don't care about what's going on, di ba? It's very telling what kind of a person you are if you don't, because like, even me, that's one of the, tinanong kanina, di ba, how can you get Gen Z? I always use my story of regret
Okay.
of not registering when I was supposed to at 18. I was busy with something else like having children, which is not what I should have been doing, but I don't regret that. I do regret not registering to vote. And because I already registered, I think late 20s or early 30s is when we registered, Francis and I registered to vote. So kayo, like now, people are more active, there's social media. We didn't have social media during our time.
Wala.
So now everything's just there for you to find out, you know, like make it a conversation, make it a barkada thing.
Cool. Do we have time for one last question?
Sure.
This is actually interesting. Endo is asking, is it the same software and computer and IT company to be used for 2022 that was used last 2016? Is there any early demonstration on how the system works again for transparency?
Okay, so basically what happened was that, so 2016, we're using the same software we used since 2010 with some
Okay.
enhancements.
2010.
Yeah, so, but the software has been updated as with every elections. And in every elections, that software, under the law, has to be certified by an international certification agency, saying that the software is not compromised. It's accurate. To read the votes correctly. And that has to be done every elections. In 2016, they did the lease with option to purchase. So Complex leased machines, I think 90,000 machines, including the software. And in 2019, they exercised the option to purchase the machines, software. So that machines, those machines are actually already owned by Complex. That's Complex owned na. So the vendor Smartmatic is not the owner of that software. It's the government who owns it now.
Okay.
Now, should there a demonstration as to how the system works again? Yes, because every election it's a new activity. It's not the fact that yung sinasabi na, ginawa na namin sa 2010, 2013, 2016. Gawin nyo ulit, di ba? So every election, it's not just because it was done before, it should not be done again. It should be done.
So where do we see that?
Well, Comlink will have to do road shows and explain the system again, because there's also a number. If you have 4 million new voters, that's 4 million people who haven't voted before.
Yeah, first timers.
They might not have been familiar with the whole process. So you have to reach out to them. It's not just because you reach out before, you don't need to reach out again. You have each election has to be a new beginning. So you have to demonstrate that the system is accurate. You have to explain to the people ano mga concern sila, if may mga hinaing sila, or if may sinasabi nila na, may daya to, you explain to them, bakit walang daya.
Okay.
Kasi mangyayari doon is, there have been instances in the past na there was a concern raised, ang ginawa lang is, nasagot na namin dati yan. Hindi yun.
Sagutin niyo ulit.
Sagutin niyo ulit because you assume that the person is asking because he doesn't know. If he knew that it was answered before, he wouldn't ask anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because you should already know the answer. The fact that you're asking the question presupposes that you want an answer. And you cannot give an answer by saying, nasagot na namin yan dati.
Okay.
To wrap things up, Nixon said, got the forms and scheduled my appointment. See, ang bilis.
Wow.
During the span of the show, nagawa na. Getting the forms is super easy. Everyone should be informed about the website. There you go. Once again,
that's nice.
you can schedule your appointment. You can register online through iregistra.comelec.gov.ph. But again, this does not mean that you don't have to go to the Comelec office. You still have to go. It's just so much easier and faster to schedule everything online. So when you get to the Comelec office, you don't have to line up as long, because no matter what, you have to affix your signature and your fingerprint in front of an official.
Yes.
Right.
Is that what's called biometrics?
Yeah, the biometric. Sure.
That's the biometric.
Yes.
Okay, pagod si Goyo today, guys. But once again, okay, it's about that time to wrap up. We're going on an hour already. I think we did get our fair share of questions.
Or
And-
to the burger. Manalo ka ba? So, wait lang.
Si Goyo yung mamimili ng winners ng burger, ha? Wala kami kinalaman dyan.
Wala kami.
No, but once again, thank you
Disclaimer.
so much to Sweet Ecstasy. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today. We are doing this every week, every Tuesday, 2 p.m. here on Facebook, Goyo Pinoy. And
Just in case they have questions as to my
Yeah.
my nationality. Sorry, I had to throw that in. Anyway, go ahead. So,
hindi sila sure.
this is sure.
Your nationality? Yours?
Yeah.
Pero sure
yeah,
na, pero
yeah.
sure. Goyo Pinoy.
Ah,
Pinoy.
yeah.
Pinoy si Goyo.
Yun na yun.
Alright. Register and vote challenge in TikTok to promote. Oh, okay.
You can do TikTok, but not the dancing, not the singing. Oh my God, I've seen some people do. Anyway, that's another story altogether. No singing and dancing. You can do TikTok, but no singing and dancing. Just information.
Oh, really? What do you mean? Sorry, I missed that.
I've seen some people dance on TikTok.
And do what? For you?
No, no.
I missed for you?
No.
Are you encouraging them?
I'm encouraging them to use TikTok to get the word out.
Yes.
Not to go to TikTok and dance and
They cannot.
They
That's
can.
how they can.
They can,
If
but
it's
I mean,
bagay to them.
If it's yun
Yeah.
talagang bagay. Kung
See,
hindi talaga
why?
bagay.
Because it doesn't have a right way of saying it. If it's bagay to you, if you're like a really good at all, because it would catch attention. Me naman, di ba? Regarding marketing, as long as it gets the word
Yes.
out. But in a positive way nga. Because it would be nice talaga kung magaling mag-dance. Di ba tayo, hindi na natin yan kaya. Pero kung magaling sila
Uy, magaling ako mag-dance dance before. Dancing.
That's why, see, habang maganda pa kayo mag-dance, gawin
Do it
nyo
now.
yan, and then mag-disseminate kayo ng information, encourage others to
Yes.
register to vote because it's your own thing.
Exactly.
It's like being a member, parang when you get your like those tita cards, the discount cards and all of that, diba? It's like,
You know we can do that.
diba? Diba? Kasi like, the others parang they work so hard to get a visa, to go abroad or something. But this is a forever thing, diba? This is your home place and like, you protect it, you defend the country, diba? So part of that is your right to vote. So parang once you have that, I promise, talagang malaking respeto mo sa sarili mo.
It's so
Pag
empowering.
registered voter ka na.
So yun. We'll
Yun
probably
lang
do
naman yung
TikTok,
gusto
but no dancing.
He's still on the...
Hindi niya matanggap yung TikTok. But yes, we will be here again next Tuesday
Yeah.
at 2 p.m. Once again, Goyo Pinoy on Facebook. I do believe we have a guest next week.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do. Gang.
Yeah.
So, I will be at the side naman. Doon ako sa gilid. I'll be the side.
Silip na lang
Oh,
si Goyo.
yeah.
Alright.
Thank you very
once
much.
again to everyone who joined us today. Thank you, Sweet Ecstasy. And
Thank you,
to the
Sweet
winners,
Ecstasy.
Goyo will reach out later.
Yeah, excited for you.
Alright.
See you guys. Thank you. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.